A very good evening and welcome to the national broadcast. I'm Malsha Dharmavardhana.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Hinapararachi, and now let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
The Gazette notification on the health protective guidelines related to the election will be issued in 2 days. Health Services Director General says 4,000 PCR tests can be conducted on daily basis. A zero carbon certificate awarded for the zero carbon presidential election campaign. Prime Minister says the present government will not hesitate to provide relief for the public. Relief provided for employees of the private sector affected from the COVID-19 outbreak. It has been revealed that the wife of the suicide bomber who carried out the attack on Katua PTA Church has fled the country.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with local stories. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the Gazette notification consists of the health guidelines related to the general election will be issued within the next 2 days. These remarks were expressed during a meeting with the heads of media institutes held at the Temple Trees today. The Prime Minister said that the government will take all necessary steps to safeguard the public while curbing the COVID-19 outbreak in the country. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the government was able to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 in the country. He said that certain entities have made attempts to spread false rumours claiming a potential second wave of COVID-19 outbreak with the general elections looming in. The Prime Minister rejected the false claims. He added that the present situation is not a condition erupted through a transmission in the society but appeared within the camp. Accordingly, the Prime Minister dismissed the necessity to impose a lockdown and said that the situation can be controlled by isolating the relevant area. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Singh has said that a lockdown is necessary if a community transmission expected to occur within the country. He said that a lockdown may impose on Rajangane area considering the prevailing situation. He emphasized on the importance in broadcasting correct information through media outlets as well as social media platforms. He said that a total number of 130,000 PCR tests have been conducted in the country thus far. He said that the number of PCR tests conducted in the country since the month of March has been drastically improved. He said that a 95-day period was taken to conduct first 100,000 PCR tests in the country, yet only a 24-day period was taken to initiate the second 100,000 tests. He said that the PCR tests were conducted successfully within the maximum existing facilities in the country. He added that the disease was effectively and systematically controlled in the country. He said that a comparison between Sri Lanka and South Korea should not be reached under any circumstance.
සමාජ සම්ප්‍රේෂණය කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? සමාජ සම්ප්‍රේෂණය කියන්නේ මේ රෝගීන් සම්බන්ධයෙන් අක්මුල් හිඳී ගිය අවස්ථාව. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මට හැදුනොත් මට කාගෙන්ද හැදුනේ කොහෙන්ද හැදුනේ කියලා මට අර්ථ දක්වන්න බැරි නම් අපේ සෞඛ්‍ය අංශ වලට අන්න ඒක තමයි සමාජ සම්ප්‍රේෂණය කියලා. අද වෙනකන් අපේ එහෙම තත්ත්වයක් නැහැ. PCR පරීක්ෂණ මේ වුණට 1,00,000.
Commander of the Sri Lanka Army Lieutenant General Sravendra Silva had that no COVID-19 patient has been detected outside the quarantine centres. He added that the prevailing situation has occurred with the outward movement of the counsellors attached to the rehabilitation centre. He added that they were not aware of this situation until the detection of the first batch of patients consisting of 56 individuals. He further added that relevant information pertaining to the cluster was revealed from the counsellor who had left the centre to travel to Maravilla. However, he said that the present situation has been fully controlled by directing the suspected COVID-19 patients whom were detected from outside the quarantine centres.
පුනරුත්ථාපන මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ උපදේශකවරුන් එළියට යෑමෙන් වෙච්ච සිද්ධිය. ඒ තත්ත්වය නාවිකයි මේකයි අතර වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. මොකද මේක අපි දන්නේ නැහැ. ඇත්තටම හමු වෙද්දි පළවෙනි 56 සහ එකම දවසේ මේ මාරවිල හම්බ වෙන නාත්තන්ඩියේ උපදේශකාන්තා හම්බ වෙනකන් අපි දන්නේ නැහැ මෙහෙම තත්ත්වයක් මේ කඳුරේ තිබ්බයි කියලා. ඒ වෙනකොට එළිය හිටපු කණ්ඩායම අපි අතුලට අරගෙන අපි ඒක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් බලන්න දැන් දින කීයද කියලා. ඒක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අපි පාලනය අරන් තියෙනවා. එතනට ආපු පළවෙනි ආශ්‍රිතය දෙවෙනි ආශ්‍රිතය වශයෙන් ඒ කඳුරට සම්බන්ධ වෙච්ච කට්ටිය උපදේශකයෝ හෝ මොන අමුත්තන් වෙච්ච අය ඔක්කොම අරන් තියෙනවා. එතකොට ආශ්‍රිතයන් ඔක්කොම අරන් තියෙන දැන් මෙතන. ඒකින්ද මම හිතන්නේ නැහැ අපිට තේරෙනවා නම් දැන් මේ ඉතුරු දින 3ේදී මම හිතන්නේ අපිට හෙටයි වෙද්දි ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි ඉතුරු පරීක්ෂණ වාර්තා ආවන් පස්සේ ඒකෙත් නැත්තම් අපිට සමාජයෙන් ඒකට කිසිසේත් හැකියාවක් නැති වෙනවා මේ தත්ත්වය තමයි තියෙන්නේ දැන්
27 වෙනිදා වගේ තමයි ගොඩක් අය ගිහිල්ලා
Minister Pavitra Vanniyarachchi said that most of them have left the centre on June 27th. She said that if a community transmission has taken place, those with symptoms related to COVID-19 must have admitted to hospitals across the country. However, she confirmed that such situation has not been reported thus far. Commander of Sri Lanka Army Lieutenant General Sravendra Silva said that this is not a camp belonging to the Sri Lanka Army but a rehabilitation centre. He added that false rumours has been circulating in this regard. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that Singapore, which 66 times smaller than Sri Lanka, has recorded 45,000 COVID-19 cases and Singapore government managed to hold elections amid the COVID-19 outbreak. Dr. Anuruddha Padaniya said that only 3.8% of the deaths have occurred due to COVID-19 disease, while 96.2% have died from non-contagious diseases, including diabetes and cancer. Therefore, he said that the public should focus on healthy and toxic-free diets in order to prevent such diseases. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Dr. Nihal Jayatilaka, said that media outlets in the country have an immense responsibility to provide correct information over the prevailing situation in the country without inflicting an unnecessary fear in the society. He said that the nationwide have to continue to survive along with the disease until a vaccine for the virus has been introduced. He said that the government cannot always impose regulations to control the public behavior. He then pointed out that the media in the country is responsible in pertaining the general public in an ideological manner under such situation. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the authorities in the country should act without inflicting any fear on the public and continue to educate the public with right information over the disease without affiliated with political beliefs.
The Epidemiology Unit of Ministry of Health says that a total of more than 130,390 PCR tests have been conducted in the country thus far. A total of 2,470 PCR tests were conducted yesterday. The Epidemiology Unit has further said that the PCR test will be conducted continuously in the future. A total of 12 COVID-19 patients have been detected in the country today. A total of 8 newly detected patients have been identified as close associates of COVID-19 patients reported in connection to Kandakata Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre. 4 patients have been identified as returnees from Qatar. A total of 2,007 recoveries have been reported in the country. The percentage of the recovery stand to 74.83. A total of 664 COVID-19 patients are under medical care at present. Minister Ramesh Pathirana said that presidents explained on the necessary information related to curb the spread of COVID-19 outbreak. He said that the COVID-19 task force take necessary decisions on daily basis. He pointed out that the government has taken ability to curb the second wave of the outbreak, and the president had said that the necessary ability to prevent further spread of the virus with the mediation of defense forces. A special action reviewing committee established by the Ministry of Health with the aim of reach decisions over the special measures to be taken to control and mitigate COVID-19 outbreak were convened under the patronage of Minister Pavitra Vanniyarachchi at the Ministry of Health premises today. A discussion was held on the failure to implement the health protective mechanism and guidelines provided by the Health Ministry to mitigate and prevent the spread of COVID-19 on grassroots level. Meanwhile, a total of 541 COVID-19 patients have been identified among the cluster detected in connection to Kandakata Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre. 444 coronavirus patients have been identified as inmates of Rehabilitation Centre, while another 64 have been identified as a group of individuals, including counsellors, belonging to the staff of the centre. Rest of the patients have been identified as close contacts of the infected staff. The DIG Ajit Rohana said that an information should be verified before sharing on social media platforms. He said any person has the right to express the truth. He said that the intelligence services or health authorities have yet to uncover any information related to a third-party infection through the Kandakaju Centre. However, he said the circulating of false information is an offence in accordance to the criminal laws of the country, which could see a person imprisoned up to 2 years.
And meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has been awarded the Zero Carbon Certificate, presented for the first ever Zero Carbon presidential election campaign in the world, conducted with community participation. The Sustainable Future Group, accredited to issue certificates on greenhouse gas management, has confirmed that the presidential campaign of President Rajapaksa maintained environmental pollution and greenhouse gas emission at zero level. The Sustainable Future Group is recognized by the Sri Lanka Accreditation Board, which has gained the international recognition in the field of greenhouse gas assessment. Members of the Committee for Environmental Policy Formulation of Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor Policy Statement presented the certification to the President at the Presidential Secretariat today. President's vision and determination was to conduct his campaign deviating from the conventional election campaign practice and to cause no harm to the environment. As the presidential candidate, he decided to hold more than 150 public rallies without using polythene, posters, banner or cutouts. The amount of carbon emitted into the environment by vehicles and people attending to public meetings is calculated according to an international methodology. It was decided that 21,000 plants needed to be planted to absorb the amount of carbon dioxide released. Accordingly, the Rate Palaveda Didhase Husma replanting program was launched, covering all public rallies. The Sri Lanka Accreditation Board also states that based on environmental damage and carbon absorption during the relevant period, it has been fully established that the environmental damage is zero. And meanwhile, the payment of salary is either 50% of the total salary obtained or an amount of 14,500 rupees for the private sector employees who are unable to engage in the employment due to the prevailing COVID-19 crisis situation in the country has been extended till the month of September. Speaking at a media briefing held to announce the cabinet decisions, Co-Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that an agreement has been reached in this regard. An agreement was entered in between the employees, employee trade unions and the officers of the Ministry of Skills Development, Employment and Labour Relations. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that these relevant decisions were informed to the Cabinet of Ministers by Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for the proposal submitted by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to provide relief for the electricity consumers for the payment of electricity bills during the period from March till May 2020. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that while incurring a loss of 3,000 billion rupees, the Ceylon Electricity Board will provide an extraordinary relief for the electricity consumers. Accordingly, he said that a decision was reached to charge an amount equal to the February bill for the months of March, April and May and grant a grace period of 2 months to settle the bill. He said that regarding consumers who have already made the payments for the previous bills, steps will be taken to offset the overpayment from future bills.
නියමිත පරිදි වැඩි මුදලක් ගෙවූ පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒ අකණ්ඩව ඉදිරි විදුලි බිලෙන් හිලව් කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය විධිවිධාන යොදන්න කිව්වා.
Cabinet of Ministers also extended approval for the proposal submitted by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to declare the period from 2021 to 2030 as the Skills Development Decade of Sri Lanka. The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to conduct feasibility studies for the establishment of high-tech universities targeting employment markets. The Asian Development Bank has given its concern for assistance required for this task. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the country has only 15 universities since the independence. He said that adhering to the Skills Development Decade of Sri Lanka, the number of state universities in the country will be increased up to 25. Under the first phase of the establishment of these universities, a land plot of 26 acres in Valahandu, a goal belonging to State Plantation Corporation, has been allocated for the project. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena and Dr. Ramesh Patirana engaged an observational tour at the project site. A decision has been reached by the government to select local suppliers and companies for the procurement of goods and services for the state institutions. The relevant cabinet paper was presented by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the procurement guidelines will be introduced introduced, allowing the purchasing process to be carried out through the local suppliers and companies while suspending imports. He said that the furniture required by the state institutes will be purchased through local suppliers and companies. He added that a decision was reached to obtain contracts for constructions or road development and irrigation activities. He said that the Prime Minister introduced this program to uplift the nation through state sponsorship after 1970.
විදේශ මු르දුකාංග තමයි ගන්න. අනිත් අතර නිවාස, ගොඩනැගිලි ඉදිකිරීම, මාර්ග ඉදිකිරීම, වෙනත් වාරි මාර්ග, ජල සම්පාදන. මේවා ඉදිකිරීමේ කොන්ත්‍රාත්තු පිරිනැමීමේදී සොජෙත් කියන්නේ ලවා කරගත හැකි සියලුම දේවල් දේශීය කොන්ත්‍රාත්කරුවන්ට ලබා දෙන්න කියලා ඊයේ තීන්දුවක් ගත්තා. මම හිතනවා මේ තීන්දුව ඓතිහාසික තීන්දුවක් කියලා. ඒ නිසා අලුත්ම ප්‍රතිපත්තියකට රට ගමන් කරනවා 1977න් පසු දේශයේ සම්පත්තා දේශයේ මිනිසුන් මත වැඩි විශ්වාසය රඳවන ඔවුන්ට ආරක්ෂාව රැකවරණයේ සුරක්ෂිත බව ලැබෙන රාජ්‍ය අනුග්‍රහයෙන් ඔවුන්ව නැකිටවන වැඩපිළිවෙල ඊයේ අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමා විසින් හඳුන්වා දුන්නා.
The Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for the proposal presented by Minister Chamal Rajapaksa for the program planned for the purchase of paddy in the Yala season through the Paddy Marketing Board. And 9 senior police officers has been appointed as hostage negotiators, the first of such an initiative in Sri Lanka in keeping with international aviation obligations as a part of crisis management during a possible aircraft hijacking or hostage situation. The officers received appointment letters from Defence Secretary Kamal Gunaratne during an official event held at the ministry today. The team of hostage negotiators had undergone training offered by the United Nations mission in USA in 2006. Addressing the officers, the Defence Secretary, who is also the chairman of National Civil Aviation Security Committee, said that appointments were a timely requirement and involve greater responsibilities involving safety of civilian lives.
Take the negotiator also as a hostage. It has happened previously in many other occasions. So when you look at the international level terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda and Taliban and ISIS, right? They have no rules. They have no rules of engagement. They have no principles, right? Their only principle of the religion. So no humanity. No respect for human lives. No human values at all. So you people will have to negotiate with such people, right? And there are some other people also who have different motives, who will take a plane load of civilians hostage due to different reasons. So it is not a easy task. So the Sri Lanka Civil Aviation has identified the timely requirement, and they have negotiated, you all have negotiated with the police, and that is how we are here today. I wish you all a very good success in all your future endeavors, if there is any.
A total of 3 motor vehicles was taken into custody by the police after interrogating 2 associates of organised criminal named Koskoda Tharaka. The police have alleged that the apprehended vehicles have been used for this distribution of illegal narcotics. Paliyakota's Special Crime Investigation Unit arrested 2 suspects yesterday who were involved in a large-scale drug racket in western and southern province. The suspects were apprehended following an interrogation carried out on a member of a powerful organised crime gang who were arrested by Rupavahini police station. The alleged distribution of illegal narcotics have been conducted by the arrested suspect from a safe house in Sapugaskanda area. It was revealed that the drug trafficking activities have been carried out under the instructions of organised criminal named Koskoda Tharaka. A tear gas attack was launched to control a crowd gathered in front of Angulana police for a protest action. A group of more than 100 relatives of a person who had died from a gunshot wound recently has engaged in a disruptive manner. Police special task force have been deployed for security of the police station, and the Angulana police have commenced further investigations into the incident.
මං කිව්වා මරණය ඉවරන වෙච්ච හැටිම ඇවිල්ලා ගියක් හදලා දෙනවා කියලා ඉවරලා ප්‍රජා පොලිසියෙන් දාලා. කිව්ව දැන් ඒක බැලලා ඒවා මේ කට්ටිය බේර ගන්නවත් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ෂේප් කරගන්නවත් කරන්න කියපු දේවල් නෙමෙයි. නමුත් දැන් මොකද ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරේ? ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගල් ගහලා ඉවරලා මේ පොලිසියේ බෝඩ් එක කැඩුවා. පොලිසියට ගල් ගහනවා කියන එක සෙල්ලම් වැඩක්ද මේ? දැන් මේවට වග කියන්න ඕන මිනිස්සු පොලිසිය අල්ලලා දාන්න ඕනේ නේද මම ඇතුළට? දැන් කවුද ඇරෙස්ට් කරන්නේ? ඇරෙස්ට් කරන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ සම්බන්ධිත මිනිස්සු. මේ පොලිසියට ගල් ගහපු කට්ටිය ගමේ කට්ටිය එකතු වෙලා සංවිධානය කරලා මට බාර දෙන්න. මට ඒගොල්ලෝ අධිකාරතුමාට ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න ඕන. අම්මා ඔයාව තේරුම් ගන්න රටේ තියෙන නීතිය අනුව මේ පොලිසියකට ගල් ගහලා කැඩුවට පස්සේ මට බේරන්න බෑ ඒක. පටල ගන්න ඒවා පොලිසියයි ඕගොල්ලෝයි සමාන නැහැ.
A total of 18 parcels, including many equipment and heroin, which were thrown over the protective wall of Valikada prison, have been apprehended last night. Accordingly, 38 mobile phones, 264 mobile phone batteries, 20 SIM cards, 3.5 gram of heroin, 10 Mava packets and 40 stash of tobacco were discovered from the parcel. The relevant parcel have been handed over to Borala police for further investigation.
And the police investigators revealed that the Tamil wife of the suicide bomber who attacked the Katuapitiya church on the Easter Sunday last year has not died from the second blast at Terror Safe House at Kalmune, Saindamardu. It has been reported that she has left the residence the night prior to the blast and had fled from Sri Lanka as well. This has been revealed and confirmed after the arrest of the said women relative on the last Monday by the crime unit of Colombo at Kaluanchikudi area in Batiklo. A chief inspector of the police transport division of Ampara has also been arrested on the same day for hiding of evidence of the Saindamardu blast. The official has performed duties at the Kaluanchikudi police station at the time of the series of blast. Further, Pulastini Rajendran alias Sara, who was the first wife of the terrorist Achi Mohammadu Hastoon, who carried out the suicide attack at St. Sebastian's Church, Katuapitiya, has been reported as dead by a bomb blast occurred at the Bolivarian village at Saindamardu on the 26th of April 2019. It has been reported that she was on the list of associates on the bombing and extremist activities. During the search operation following the Saindamardu blast next day, it has been found dead bodies around 15 people. The security forces has been able to rescue the wife and the daughter of the leader of the suicide bomber, Sahran Hashim. Later, DNA tests have been carried out to identify the bodies which were heavily damaged, although Palestini Rajendran alias Sahra's DNA were not matched with her parents' DNA. By the investigations carried out prolongedly, it was revealed that with the support and security of someone, Sarah fled the country by a boat last year. It has been further revealed that she has been married by Achu Mohammad Hastoon after she was forcibly led to embrace Islam. It was reported that the support of Abdul Razik of Tawhid Jamaat organization has also been derived to the same. Meanwhile, as Palestini Rajendran has not been linked to the suicide bombing and as she has fled the country by ignoring the relevant incidents, the concern of investigators have been derived to find out whether she is the person who has provided information to an international intelligence agency.
Postal voting of the 2020 general election has been successfully concluded for the fourth day today. Postal voting process have been carried out with the health sector's guidelines due to the prevailing COVID-19 outbreak in the country. All personnel attached to Sri Lanka Police, Tri-Forces, Civil Security Forces, Health Division, District Secretariat and Election Secretariat cast their postal vote today. Tomorrow has also been reserved for personnel attached to relevant department and divisions to cast their votes. The voting process commenced at 9 a.m. and concluded at 4 p.m. The state personnel will be given the opportunity to cast their votes tomorrow from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. The postal voting process have been conducted under 3 phases. Marking of postal ballots of the general election 2020 was commenced on the 13th of this month. On the first day of voting, staff of all medical health officers were accorded the opportunity to cast their votes. July 14, 15 have been reserved for state employees to cast their postal votes, apart from state employers eligible to mark their postal votes today and tomorrow. The Elections Commission has taken measures to allow 2 more additional days to the government servants who are unable to cast their postal votes on the designated dates to cast their vote. Accordingly, such government employees will be able to mark their postal ballots on 20th and 21st of this month. A total of 753,037 applications were submitted for postal voting process. yet 47,430 applications were rejected. Accordingly, 750,085 were eligible for postal voting process.
And meanwhile, the leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, says that the government will not hesitate to extend relief for the public. The Prime Minister pointed out that the relief on the electricity bill said to incur a loss of 3 billion rupees to the government. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa made these remarks while taking part in several public rallies held in Kegol district today. The first public rally was held in Yatiyantota. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the public were forced to remain in their own residences due to the COVID-19 outbreak, which increases the electricity bills accordingly. He said that the government has provided a beneficial relief to the public by mailing changing an amount equal to the February bill for the months of March, April and May.
ඒක නිසා මේ කාලය තුලදී අපි බොහොම පැහැදිලිව ඒ විදුලි බිල අඩු කරලා ගමුනාන්සලාට විශාල සහනයක් දීලා
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa also took part in a public rally held in Ruanwala. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said that public has been given with the responsibility to elect a government which would ensure the protection of recursiveness in the country. The Prime Minister said that under UNP policies, the state resources were sold for outside entities. He said that the public has the duty to appoint a government which would ensure the future of the next generations or to elect a government which is responsible in selling the state resources.
අවුරුදු 5කට බලය දීලා ජාතියක් අවුරුදු 99ක් ඉපදෙන්න ඉන්නා වූ දරුවන්ට අයිති දේපල විකුණන ආණ්ඩුවක් පත් කරගන්නවද දේපල රැකගෙන ඔබේ දරුවට ඒ අයිතිය ලබා දෙන ආණ්ඩුවක් පත් කරගන්නවද කියන එක ඔබ තීන්දුව
Another public rally was held in Daronigal area. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said that the country was bankrupted after the Yahapalna government decided to import main agri-products to the country.
United National Party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe says that only his party is capable in rebuilding the collapsed economy in the country. He made these remarks while addressing a public rally held in Hambantota district yesterday. United National Party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe said that his party will introduce a complete plan to rebuild the economy in the country through the party manifesto. He said instead of a small harbour, a large port was built. He said that efforts were taken to form a joint venture between China Merchant Company and Ceylon Port Authority. He said that 10,000 acres of land were allocated to establish trade zones. He added that UNP has not given up on Hambantota project. He requested the public to vote for them in order to form a government to strengthen the household economy.
And meanwhile, the chairman of the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau, Kamal Ratwatta, has stated that they have paid 382 million relevant to the past year for the foreign employees who have been registered with the Bureau. The compensation was paid as a part of free insurance coverage in the events of death and other losses of foreign employees. This has been stated at a media briefing held to provide information on the concessionary insurance scheme which was implemented by the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau along with Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau, Kamal Ratwatta, says that 40 foreign employees have lost their lives across the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He further states that if an employee was died while in his duty, the welfare unit of the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau offered 30,000 rupees to the relevant family until the insurance claim is being dispatched. He has requested the welfare unit to increase the donation up to 40,000 rupees for the employees who lost their lives due to the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic. And with that, we conclude tonight news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.